Well, children, as we looked at the poem, Lines Written in Early Spring by William Wordsworth, the poet felt a kind of aching joy. He was happy about the blessing of nature and the greenery and the beautiful things only man is blessed with. But at the same time, sad thought also came to his mind when he thought of man's mindless action. So, let us look at page number 32 of Class 10 English textbook. Activity 1. And what is poet's thought about human world? The poet is concerned or worried about man's mindless exploitation of nature. Look around, it is still continuing in the form of racing down the hills, filling fields, blasting rock, mining sand, burning plastic, and thus polluting our own environment. Men distance themselves from nature and mankind. He wages wars and often fight among themselves, kill and are being killed. He continuously creates miseries and spoil peace and happiness in his earthly life. Well, children, in activity 2 on page number 32, let's discuss some poetic devices employed in the poem Lines Written in Early Spring. First, personification. Personification is considering non-human things as human beings. Let us find some examples for personification in the poem. 1. Nature links human soul to it. Here, nature like a goldsmith connecting human soul to it, just like a chain. Every flower enjoys the air it breathes. Here, flower is given human quality. Human beings can enjoy beautiful things, sweet things and all. Here, flower also is acting like a human being. It is enjoying the air it breathes. Next, the budding twigs spread out their fan, just like a child stretches hands for getting food from mother. Budding twigs are spreading their fan. Here also, human quality is given to the plants and trees. To catch the breezy air, catching also is a human quality, and in these instances, let's see personification.
Sir, what is the role of imagery in poetry?
Well, Miss Wahida, it's a relevant question. Imagery in poetry is employed to create mental pictures in reader's mind with certain specially chosen words or expressions by the poet. As we have 5 senses, the images may be evoked through any of these or through all of these. Hope you have heard of the point. John Keats was a poet of 5 senses. Hence, imagery may be visual through sight, auditory through listening, olfactory through smell, gustatory through taste, and tactile through touch. See the instances of visual imagery in the poem. The birds hopped and played, I sate reclined, to lament, periwinkle trails its wreaths. Now let's find out if there are any other kinds of imageries used in the poem. Auditory image. Auditory image is evoked through listening or hearing. See, 1,000 notes, thousand notes. The poet heard thousands of notes, mingled or mixed notes. It's an example of a auditory image. Another kind of image is olfactory. Olfactory images evoked through smell. Every flower enjoys the air it breathes. Every flower enjoys the air it breathes. Breathing gives you olfactory or smell. Tactile image or tactile imagery is evoked through bodily experience, physical or bodily experience. The breezy air, you feel air that is warm. The warm season, when gentle wind comes and touches you, you see it's a physical experience. This is called a tactile imagery. When I say a mountain of chocolates or ice cream, I repeat, a mountain of chocolate or ice cream, you will have the feeling of tasting it. This is also an example of a gustatory, that is, gustatory imagery or images formed through taste. Gustatory taste. Appreciation of the poem Lines Written in Early Spring. William Wordsworth, the poet of nature and lover of mankind, shares his aching joy as he sat comfortably in a wooden grove. He could hear thousands of mixed voices from the creatures and surroundings. He enjoyed them, but amidst the delight he felt sad, thinking about man's thoughtless action against nature. Man and nature maintain a mother child relationship, but unfortunately, man creates miseries and tries to separate himself from Mother Nature. The soul of man and nature is connected, but man often disconnects it. Birds and animals enjoy nature's bliss to the maximum, but man creates sorrows and disharmony in nature. This mindless action of man saddens the poet. As Gandhi said, the world has enough for man's need, but not enough for his greed. The rhyme scheme of the poem is A B A B.
Sir, even though children can express their ideas, their sentence construction needs some more fine tuning. Could you elaborate on the basic sentence pattern for them?
Well, Miss Procedure, as we all know, man, besides being a social being, is an emotional being also. He speaks at times kindly, angrily, with interest, without interest, and so on. When we speak of ordinary affairs in our life, we put it in ordinary statements. These kinds of ordinary statements of facts are called assertive or declarative sentences. Let's see some instances or examples. Today is Thursday. I have two brothers. Messi is my favorite footballer. My birthday falls on the 15th of August. These are examples of assertive or declarative sentences. There is nothing special to these sentences. Now let's glance through the following sentences. Switch off your mobile phone. Wear mask and sanitizer. Please show me the office room. Please pass the salt. Have a nice day. May God bless you. These sentences have a tone of command, request, and wish. These types of sentences are called imperative sentences. How did you get my phone number? Where did you see the snake? Are you hungry? Have you completed your assignment works? These types of sentences asking a question are called interrogative sentences. Interrogatives are of two types: WH questions and yes or no questions. WH questions normally begin with a WH word. For instance, what, which, when, where, who, why, and so on. Yes no questions normally start with auxiliary verbs such as primary auxiliaries like am, is, are, was, were, have, has, had, do, does, did, or modal auxiliaries like will, would, shall, should, can, could, may, might, must, ought, need, dare, and used to. Normally, yes no questions may be answered in yes or no. Are you an Indian? Yes or no. But to a WH question, we should at least answer in a sentence or a word. What's time now? It is 10 to 10. Here you cannot answer as yes or no. Well, children, now I believe all of you understood how to identify different types of sentences. And now let us attempt activity 1 on page number 33, language activities.
Now let's take a look at activity 2nd on page number 35 of class 10 English textbook. Read the following sentences. 1. I had built a small platform on the tree. 2. I was not afraid. 3. Grandfather had a very beautiful garden. 4. The combatants were not aware of my presence in the banyan tree. 5. I don't get any sleep at all. 6. My first friend was a small grey squirrel. 7. The house was not electrified. 8. The snake slithered along my shoulder. 9. I was no mere image cut in granite. 10. The snake looked into the mirror and saw its reflection.
Sir, can we differentiate affirmative and negative sentences?
Well, Kirti, affirmative sentences are ordinary statements or positive sentences. For instance, I help my wife in the kitchen. Whereas negative sentences contain a negative word, either no or similar words like hardly, scarcely, little, never, seldom, rarely, and so on.
Well, friends, now let us go through another exercise on page number 36 of class 10 English textbook. Rewrite the following affirmative sentences as negative sentences without changing their meaning. Note that this might involve replacing a word with its antonym. 1. Jack always agrees to help his friends. For example, Jack never disagrees to help his friends. 2. He drives his car very carefully. 3. Stella is prettier than Mary. 4. They have accepted the invitation for the party. 5. A fox is cleverer than a jackal. 6. This shop sells expensive articles. 7. She always keeps her room tidy. 8. He is polite to everyone. 9. He is very industrious.
Sir, most of the discourses are familiar to children. Could you explain verb phrase and noun phrase?
Well, Miss Rishna, it's a slightly unfamiliar area for our children. So let me try to elucidate it. According to English syntax, that is, meaningful arrangement of words in a sentence should consist of two parts. One part with an actor and the other part with an action. The part of the sentence which contains the actor or noun is called noun phrase, and the part which contains the action or verb is called verb phrase. So, let us put a sentence as this. S is equal to NP plus VP. Here S is a sentence, NP is a noun phrase, and VP is the verb phrase. Now let's consider which are the parts that go with a noun phrase and what are the parts which go with a verb phrase. In the noun phrase, there will be a head word and some items describing or speaking about the noun. The items that come before the noun in a noun phrase are articles like a, an, the. A man, an apple, the sun, like that. Adjectives like color, shape, state, and so on. For instance, the blue sky. Then adjectives like blue, tall, old, big, the blue sky. Numbers like 1, 2, 3. For instance, 2 brothers, 1 cup of tea, and so on. Then ordinal numbers like first, second, third, like that, first prize, third rank, and so on. A verb phrase contains a verb and a modifier or a complement. The police arrested the thief. The boy climbed down the tree. Well, now let's see what are determiners in English and how they occur in a sentence. A determiner reduces a noun. They always come before a noun and the adjectives used just before a head noun in a noun phrase. Now let's take a quick look at some sentences and see how determiners are used in them. A cobra came out of a cactus clump. An apple a day keeps the doctor away. The boy in the story loved adventurous stories. My friends visited me yesterday. Grandfather's house is in the city. An old banyan tree was there in the garden. In these sentences, articles like a, an, the, and my, grandfather's, and old. All these are examples of determiners. They come just before the nouns or the head words, and at times they come before adjectives like old, an old, a beautiful, a large, and so on. Sometimes one determiner comes before another determiner. They are called predeterminers. For example, all the, all and the, all the and both of them, both of the girls, both of them or both of the girls. In these cases we call them Predeterminers. Pre means before.